Welcome back to the Worthy Woman podcast with Aston Simmons. I have a beautiful special guest today, a really dear friend of mine. We've known each other a long time and our paths have crossed so many times. It's been so beautiful. I was just saying, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get this amazing woman on the podcast because you're going to get so much value from her. She's a beautiful woman inside and out, and you're going to know what I mean in a minute. Today, my beautiful guest is Annmarie Lord. She is an author of an incredible book that she's going to share with us today and an intuitive gratitude coach. And she teaches people how to shift their mindset and take it to another level so they can manifest their dreams using gratitude. And I love this. I'm so excited to have this chat, especially right now, because we were just talking before we went live that literally we all know we need to be grateful. We all know that we need to practice gratitude. We say things like, I need to be more grateful. I should be grateful, but we don't do it. We don't actually embody what that means. And then we don't get what we want. And I'm just super excited for Annmarie to dive into how we can unpack this, how we can use gratitude to get more of what we want, because I'm a big believer in gratitude too. So before we dive in, I just want to hand it over to the beautiful Annmarie. I want to warmly welcome her, and she's going to let us know more about her.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure. And as you say, we've been friends for a long time now, and our paths have crossed so much along the journey of life. It's been beautiful having you there. So thank you for this opportunity. And hello to all your listeners as well. I hope you enjoy today's show. But before I start telling you all about the gratitude stuff, I'll just, as Aston said, I'll introduce myself. My name is Annmarie Lord. I'm an intuitive coach and medium. I see people from all over the world via Zoom, and absolutely love my job. But my job changed a little bit a few years ago. I was very much like, as you remember, Aston, I'm a medium and an intuitive. So people used to come and see me, some people to get closure, some people to get guidance on where they were going. Because my job, I don't only see where you're going, I actually help you get there by using all my coaching skills. So it's like an intuitive, if you like, with coaching skills and mentorship skills. So we'll see where you need to be and I'll help you get there. So that's what I do in a nutshell. However, it's so much bigger than that, and I couldn't reach the amount of people that I wanted to reach. So I decided to write the book, The Grateful 3 Approach to Life, an intuitive's approach to mastering your mind. So when people come and see me, which is fantastic, they come and sit in front of me, whether it be on computer or face to face, and we go through a lot of stuff. So when I wrote the book, this was amazing because then I could help people through story, teach, tool methods. So the book has got some great stories in it. It's also got teaching woven into it, and methods, what you can bring into your own life. So you know exactly why you're doing the gratitude, and people throughout the world. I think it's selling in over 10 countries now, which is great. And it was the #1 hottest new release on Amazon, which I'm very proud of. But more than that, more than being proud of just this book reaching people all over the world, it's changing people's lives. It's letting them understand why I'm doing gratitude, because we all, oh yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that. And, we know the simple feeling that it gives us, but the chemistry and the science behind it was what I wanted to teach people, really. And I am a nurse, and I've been a nurse for over 30 years. So there was always going to be a little bit of science in there anyway. But apart from that, and I'll talk to you all about gratitude and how it changes the mind in a moment. I'm a mum, I'm a nan, just about to have my 5th grandchild. So excited. So that's a milestone in me. I've got a beautiful husband called Mitch, my absolute soulmate, who comes on this journey with me. My gorgeous kids and my 2 dogs. And I have a lovely business that I don't need to work as a nurse anymore. I retired in 2014. yeah, from nursing to pursue this business. So that's me in a nutshell, I think.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Now you know what I mean. This woman has so much wisdom, and you have been a big part of my journey as well. And I've loved watching your journey expand and grow and evolve. Yeah, it's been so beautiful to be a part of it, to see it unfold. And I'm so excited. There's so much I want to talk about. I really want to dive into what we were talking about before we went live, talking about the gratitude. And I love that you have incorporated the science and the intuitive, because I'm the same. I'm like, we need both. We need to, and they've always meant to go together. I don't actually believe that there's a spiritual camp and a science camp. I believe they were always meant to go together. There's always been this dance that's meant to happen, and they do fit in together. It does make sense. And I love that you have brought that together, because I feel the same. We definitely need both sides. So let's dive into gratitude and why we need it, because like we were talking, most people do exactly what you said. Oh, I'm grateful for my kids, or I'm grateful for my house, but they don't feel it. They don't mean it. And like exactly what you said, the why is missing. And then
That's right.
they don't end up getting, like, that gratitude doesn't create or manifest what it has the power to create and manifest. So let's dive into that.
Okay. So before I go into the total chemistry of it all and why this works and why such a simple change, this is chapter 1 of the book. The Grateful 3 Approach to Life, chapter 1 is gratitude. If you only read chapter 1, your life will change, you know? So why did I do this? When I was younger, I had massively debilitating anxieties and phobia. And I talked to you about this in the book as well. I lost my mom when she was 47. She was 43. She was diagnosed with MS and lung cancer. I was the eldest of 6 kids, and I used to look after all the kids, plus having my own children. And it was such a hard journey. And my mum, because of the MS, couldn't walk properly either. So I used to go around and look after. She was a very private lady. You've got to remember, this woman was very, very young. And I used to go and give her a wash and do all the things that I used to have to do. And then amongst all that, and I was doing it okay. I was plodding along okay, keeping my head above water. And then in the middle of all that, I was working also in the hospitals. And a friend of mine, this is actually quite a funny story. A friend of mine, I was working on a gynae ward, and a friend of mine said to me, hey, Anne, your boobs look really big. And we were laughing. I was like, why, thank you, you know? And she said, no, they look actually bigger than normal. She said, you're not pregnant again, are you? And I was thinking, oh gosh, and I love babies, right? However, having a mum who had MS, dying of cancer, 2 babies of my own, and 5 brothers who were all younger than me, a new baby on the scene was just not what I wanted. Plus I had the old-fashioned coil inserted. So I'm like, no, this can't be happening. Anyway, cut a big long story short, I was working on the gynae ward in the morning. I ended up rushed down to theatre in the afternoon. I had a ruptured ovarian cyst, but what was worse than that is I had a 6-week ectopic pregnancy. So in them days, there was no keyhole surgery. We had major open abdominal surgery. My children were still in the nursery on the hospital site. So, excuse me, I had to phone my husband and quickly come and get the kids. And then I was thinking, oh my God, I've got to go home and give my mum a shower. And what, you know, who's going to look after mum? Anyway, I just thought I was going to plod on with this. Oh no. I don't know, my mind had total different plans, total shutdown. I came home after the surgery. I was in hospital about 7 days, came home. I went to go to the front door and I couldn't get out the front door. And I'd never had a panic attack before, but I had this overwhelming panic attack that I couldn't get out the door. And then I was thinking, how am I going to do my life? My life doesn't allow for me not being able to get out the door. Anyway, big, long story short, I went to therapists, I went to acupuncturists, I went everywhere. So I managed to get myself out of the door, but crowds used to scare me a little bit, you know. I managed to get on top of this, not feeling total comfortable, but I got on top of it. And then I went to get on a plane and had, again, this overwhelming panic attack. So every time I got on a plane, it became worse and worse and worse until I developed this phobia, you'll read this in one of the chapters in the book. I was in Italy and I run out of the airport. I couldn't get on the plane. So I was never to get on a plane again. Well, I'm a person, as Aston knows, I never give up. You know, I can't give up. There's always a why. There's always a reason. My kids need to travel. My husband wants to go to Australia. Really, I couldn't even get on a 2-hour flight from Italy, you know? So once again, I journeyed on to the therapists. And I thought, listening to all these therapists who were amazing therapists, I thought I created this phobia and this anxiety. As hard as that was to face, I'd created it. Now, I know some of you listeners might think, well, you know, the society gave you them, you know, external stuff like the illness, your mum's being sick. But I decided to focus on all that. So what I realized, because when I realized that I'd created it, it was like a gift. Because I thought, well, if my mind is that special to create this, then my mind will be that special to get rid of it. So I used everything the therapists taught me. I'd pick up bits. I started reading books. And the one thing I came across, because I'm a simplistic person, when you read the book, I want quick, I want now, I want strategies that will fit into my amazingly crazy, busy life. So I thought, what can I do? And the one thing I found was gratitude. I started saying, I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for this. Like all of us do, we go through this thing. But being a science person, I thought, why is this making a difference? So I started studying stuff about the brain and how the brain works and the synaptic connections. And I came across this thing called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And this was like all the angels sang together when I came across this. Now, for those of you that don't know, the RAS, if you like, let's keep it simple. It's the gatekeeper to your thoughts. So we have thousands of thoughts come into your mind every single day. Yeah. So your gatekeeper, your RAS system, chooses what ones we keep hold of. So how does it choose the ones we keep hold of? Is the ones that we feel and see through our senses, the tangible stuff, the ones that give us emotion. So if we see something that makes us really happy, we will keep hold of that because the gatekeeper, the RAS system, will go, that's important. Let's store that. So what I'd done is I'd made flying, let's pick flying because it became a big issue in my life. I'd picked the phobia of flying as a big thing, really. So my RAS system was like, oh, that's important. So every time I'd see a plane on the telly, even the RAS system would kick off and think, oh my gosh, you know, this is important. Get her nervous. So I'd stored all this as important in the subconscious mind. Yes, this makes sense.
Yeah. Oh,
so when you
powerful.
store something in the subconscious mind as important, we keep hold of it and it becomes who we are. But then you think, well, if I've done that, I've got a choice to override the system. Yeah. How can I do that quickly? How can I override the system? If I see something that's important and it gives me an emotional feeling through my eyes, through my touch, through my senses, my hearing, I can override the system. So what I started to do is I started to work on me. And I thought, okay, sister, you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to go on a plane without taking copious amounts of drugs. And there's also a funny story about that. I was on a plane one time, a 2-hour flight to Spain. And I remember the air hostess saying to me, I kept saying to her, when are we coming down? When are we coming down? And this air hostess said to me, sister, we're going to land in about half an hour, but I don't think you'll come down till Friday. And it was Tuesday. I took that many Valium. I was stoned as a monkey for about 2 days after I got off the plane. I missed the whole 2 days of my holiday.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So anyway, I kept thinking, right, I've got to change this. So I started practicing it on myself. And I started giving thanks. And my thing was of a morning, if I give thanks of a morning, then throughout the day, we will give thanks for other things without even thinking about it. If a plane can come on a television when I'm nowhere near it, and it can cause this chemical reaction within my body for me to feel fear. Now, people who have got a phobia of spiders and snakes and things like that will know exactly what I'm saying. But if I created that, then I can override the system. So what I did was I started giving gratitude. So throughout the day, I'd see more things to be grateful for. And it'd randomly be things like, oh, isn't that tree lovely? Or, like Mary in work or something, there's a person in work who've been really annoying you. Yeah. Or really you didn't get on with or whatever. And you'd think, she's probably got her own stuff. And I give gratitude that she's there because she's teaching me lessons. Now, this wasn't easy in the beginning to give gratitude for someone that you don't like or they don't like you. But then you start seeing different things about Mary. So I was thinking, how does this work in relation to life? So before I go into that, I just want to tell you something. And this is how quick this works, okay? Have you ever wanted a car? The make, the model, the color, and you've thought, I'm going to get a red Range Rover one day. Yeah. So you can see that little smile come on my face. Yeah. And I know what model it's going to be. So the next day you get out on the road and next minute you see this red Range Rover and you're like, weird, why is that on the road today? That was on the road yesterday. You just hadn't activated the RAS system to look for things that are important in your life. Does this make sense?
Oh my God, there's so much that I'm like sitting here nodding my head like crazy. So much that I've pulled from that already. And I 100% agree that we get what we're looking for. And this is where gratitude comes in because it can help you. It can help you to literally direct what you want to look for so that you can create it.
That's the magic of it. But the beauty of this was I was even seeing Range Rovers that was like a brownie color. I'm thinking, well, that could be red in a certain light. Yes. So I was even making it fit into my world.
And that's what we do. When we want to see it, we will see it. And that's the power of gratitude. I love that. And when you were talking, I was thinking about, I remember you having this phobia because I remember I did Reiki with you and I remember you bringing it up. And I remember we talked about it because as part of Reiki, gratitude is a huge part. I can't fully remember the thing, but there was be grateful
for today.
Yes.
Just for today. Do not worry. Just for today. Do not get angry. Just for today. Do not love every living thing. Just for today. Live your life with honesty.
Yes.
And there was another one.
It's
just
so beautiful.
Be grateful.
Yes, just for today, be grateful. Yes. But I loved that. And I remember that being really powerful for me. And, because you've been teaching this in different forms. I feel like your whole life in every interaction, like I really believe our purpose is part of who we are, not just what we do. And you have been a living, breathing example of that. I know that's when people think of me, they think of the deep and meaningful conversations in the corner. I've been doing them since I could talk. And I love that about people that, you don't need to find your purpose. It's already in you and who you be. And you're a perfect example of that. And I remember you talking about gratitude then. And I remember that you said, I'm going to overcome my fear of flying. And I think I shared with you at the time that I'd been to a Tony Robbins event. And I feel like not long after you went.
I did. Yes. I've done Tony Robbins now 4 times.
Yep.
I've done 2 firewalks and 2 virtuals.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't it incredible?
The funny thing was, getting on that plane to even go to Sydney, people go firewalk and I go, hang on, I've gone on a plane to Sydney.
Yes. You were breaking through before you even got there. I love
husband.
that. I absolutely love that. Amazing. I'm celebrating you so much for overcoming that. And I 100% can relate. I am someone who doesn't give up too. Like listening to your journey. Oh my God. Like I knew a bit about your journey, but not all of those intricate pieces. And my heart was just like, oh, I have a mum, I have kids, I have siblings. Like I can put myself in that story and be, so many women do carry so much on their journey, so much. And this often becomes like, this is how we become that strong woman syndrome where we don't receive help, or we can become stuck in that victim mentality. And I just love that you took this as, this is for me. Like, yes, it's hard. Not going to lie. It was hard. You didn't sugarcoat it, but you decided this is for me. There is lessons in this. And I loved how you said, my mind was like, everything's just going to go back to normal, just plod along, because isn't that what the mind does? But the body keeps the score, and your body let you know, no, this is a lesson. We are going to learn this. Yep, you are going to face this, and some gold is going to come out of it. Pain always has a powerful purpose. And that's been my experience. I've had plenty of pain. I think everybody experiences pain. And I just loved how you decided, I'm not going to give up. There's going to be a purpose. And you've been living and breathing that purpose. And it's, having a beautiful ripple impact and effect on so many people's lives. And I think that's what we're here to do, to, help people become who they're meant to be through other people. It's what we're here for.
People say to me sometimes, well, are you always happy, or are you always, and I remember reading in your book, you said, because when I read your book, it's there on my shelf.
You've got my book, yes.
I have. It's on my shelf. It's there somewhere. It must be behind that thing there, but it's on my shelf, and I read it ages ago when you sent me it. But I remember you talk about, like, I forgot what I was saying there with the memory. When we talk about, you talk about something in your book, and I remember seeing it and thinking, and it was something about, it was you saying, sorry about that, I had a bit of a mind slip,
we have
57, I'm hormone and lady.
You're
Sometimes
amazing.
I'll walk in a cupboard and go, what am I even in here for? Anyway,
that's mum life as well. I do that plenty of times, mum brain.
Brain. But it's about that, that being positive all the time. Remember someone saying that to you about being, are you happy all the time? You're positive. And that was a big aha moment for me as well, because no, I'm not. And I don't believe that everyone can be, because life happens. Tony Robbins, you mentioned him before. Tony Robbins says something about life happens for us, not to us.
Yes.
And the first time I ever heard that, I remember thinking, my mum dying at 47 years of age didn't happen for me, but it did, because I went on then to do my training and my nursing, because I was an auxiliary nurse, and then I went on to do my RN. I went on to work in palliative care for over 12 years. I do the job that I do. She gave me the strength. It happened for me, as much as I didn't want to admit that. It was true.
Yes.
But when people say, so are you happy all the time? No, I'm not. When life and the shit hits the fan, I often say to people, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry.
Yes.
What's not okay is find a tool that will get you the F out of there when you feel like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've created within this book. I go back and read my book when I'm having shit days.
100%. I love that you mentioned that, because people, I know, and social media has not helped with this. And I like to always bring this to light as well, that social media is like 15 to 20% of somebody's life. Whenever I'm on social media, that's what my perception is. I am happy for that person. I'm celebrating them, but I believe this is 15 to 20% of their life. They're not showing me 80% because they're living their life, just like I am. If I was showing you 80%, I would not be living my life. Like, and that's how I think about it. So when I'm on there, I can be happy for them, but I also know they have stuff going on like I do, because everybody does. And it's the human experience. I think I learned this from Tony Robbins as well, that our problem is not that we have problems. It's that we think we shouldn't have problems. It's crazy.
Right. Oh my
it's literally
God.
crazy. Yes. It's crazy. Like that is how we become who we become. I always say to people, you never read a book that was like, I had no challenges. Life was easy. I just knew everything. I had nothing to learn. And you never read that and went, wow, that changed my life. I'm going to recommend that book. I can relate. No, you went, well, that's a load of shit. Like, I can't relate to that. That's not real. So, you know, we have these problems or things that we need to overcome or go through like you went through. And I get it. There are times when we're not ready to say, this is happening for me. I've had plenty of those as well. You're in it, you're feeling it, and you get to feel it. You get to feel the anger, the rage, the sadness, the grief. It's all welcome. But you then do have to decide, do I sit in this and become those emotions, or do I feel them, like you said, use the tools, let them go through me, and then do I use this pain for a powerful purpose? And that's the choice we get to make. And we all have to make that choice on a daily basis. You, me, everybody. Nobody gets to miss out on this. Like, I always say, life, God, universe, whatever you believe in, loves you that much that it is going to keep bringing all of these problems or the shit until you decide to work through it, until you decide you have the strength and the power within you to overcome it. And truly overcoming it is how you become who you're here to become. That's 100%.
And it's not like you get to this gate and you go, oh, I'm free. You know, it's like you get to the gate and you think, thank God for that. You know, okay, get me breath back and I'm ready to go on again. You know, when I talk about mum dying, you know, I had to tell 2 kids, a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, that their mum was not coming back. I was 27. I was struggling. This lady was my best friend. You know, we spent every day together. We got on each other's nerves, but I seen her every day, you know, and we had fun together. I, you know, for 4 years. And then next minute she's dying in front of me, and she dies in front of me. And I had to go and get myself together. My other brother was about, I think he was 17. And the others were a little bit older, but still younger than me. And I had to get myself together to tell these boys that their mum had gone. This young, beautiful woman who had been there in their lives, all their lives, had gone. And I'm thinking, what the, how do I put one foot in front of the other? You know? And that's why I think I was hit bang, 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 you know? And there was going to be a time when it was like, you know, this is it. Your body, you know, and it never just happened after the ectopic. It happened like getting on the plane after mum died. That was after my mum died. I got on the plane, and so I thought I'd overcome these phobias of getting outside and, you know, getting in with crowds. I couldn't even go to the theatre. I'd be sitting in the theatre right by a door. I'd have hold of the side of the chair and I'd be looking for all the exits, you know? And it was like, this is nuts. It was like it just blew me whole existence out the water.
Oh,
but I remember, we talk about gratitude, bringing it back to gratitude. When mum died, I got stuck in one of the grooves of the grief groove, I call it. And I got stuck in anger. I was so pissed off that I was 27. My friends still had their mum and I didn't. And I was so pissed off. Not that I wished anything on their mums, but I was so angry. And people are going to go, oh yeah, so you turn to gratitude. Weren't quite as easy as what I'm going to explain. However, I had to turn around and say, because I was angry with people, didn't want to go out, stopped going with my friends, drank way too much alcohol. And then I realized I had these 2 babies who was losing their mum like I lost mine, and my brothers. And I had to turn this round, and I decided, I didn't even know what gratitude was at the time. And I decided to start being grateful for having this amazing woman in my life, rather than being angry, because now I was starting to get angry at her for getting sick and for dying, you know? So I started to turn it around and look at the things that we had together. And I suppose that was maybe my first journey of gratitude. Didn't happen overnight. I had to just keep going.
Full goosebumps listening to you, and I can fully relate, because this is what I share with women all the time. And I love that you said it. You don't go from angry and pissed off to elated, excited, amazing life. And
Not in a
it's
million
never
years.
a straight line. It's like an onion. There's layers or there's steps. And I know for me, I've been stuck in anger before. And the truth of that anger every time for me is that I'm avoiding feeling the sadness.
That's right.
We're trying to protect ourselves, and it's so much easier to be angry or to blame than it is to feel the weight
right.
of losing your mum. But when you
Yeah.
start to feel it, you realize it is just energy in motion. That emotion, it just
Right.
wants to come through. You let it come
Yeah.
through, and then the clarity will come in. And that's then how you turn it around, like you did, and decided, well, yeah, what sucks about this, or what's wrong, or I don't really believe there is right or wrong, but what we label bad is
Yeah.
available, and so is what we label good. And
Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
we're good at looking for the bad. We don't need help
Yeah.
doing that, but we need a reminder and help to look for that good, exactly like you did. And hold on to that, exactly like you said. I've got a visual of my RAS now, just really like a
Yeah,
gatekeeper. I
right.
love that. Take that, that's gold. See it as a gatekeeper, and let it, really encourage it to hold on to the good. And
Yes.
because emotions do create change, and we want to use them to create positive change. So I love that. I really want to dive into the science of it now, and for you to explain that a bit, because I think that's awesome.
So as I say before, it's just a group of neurons in the brain, and it's, I always keep it really, really simple, because when I was studying all this, I was reading like Joe Dispenza and things like that, and I'm a simplistically easy person. So I thought, how can I write this to help other people? And that's what I talk about. Like, imagine this big, fat synaptic connection within the brain. Oh, this is me worry. Or let's bring it to your realm. Let's bring it to relationships. Yeah. So
Amazing.
you've got this connection in the brain, and your husband or your wife, and you're looking at them and they're starting to annoy you. We've all heard that saying, they breathe, I hate the way they eat. This is your RAS system at its best. It's going, oh yeah, let's see more of what we hate.
Yeah.
So imagine this big fat synaptic connection going in the brain there. Oh yeah, here he is, or here she is. And it's like, what can I dislike about them? Because you've set this off to look for more of what you don't like. So then you're seeing things like breathing. You're seeing everything that they do, the way they
Seeing
hold the
them,
body, the way they
seeing them
speak.
sit on the couch doing nothing, or scrolling on
Everything.
their
Get
phone,
that
or
thing.
when they leave
Yeah,
the glasses out. Like, this
oh
is all the
my
stuff I hear.
God, this is it. This
This
is
is
it.
it.
This, you're feeling it, yeah. So your RAS systems connect on this even fatter and fatter and fatter synaptic connection in the brain, yeah. So it's sitting there and it's all comfortable, because the RAS system doesn't have a right and wrong, like you said, doesn't have a bad and good. It just goes, oh, we need to create a really good connection here, because this has come with feeling. So it lets you see more of it, yeah. So how this works with relationships, and this is how I teach, like, I'm not on the scale you are, but I teach my clients this, and I say to them, you start looking for what you do like within your partner, and you will see more of it. Now, at first, imagine this, right? You're at this depth where you're thinking, they breathe, yeah. And then all of a sudden, you've got this big fat synapse connecting in the brain like this. And then all of a sudden, you go, I remember when we first met. The synaptic connection's going, whoa, hang on, we've got to move. Yeah. So you're starting to break and loosen that connection. Yeah. So it goes, oh yeah, remember when we first met. So it changes a little bit and tries to get back. Yeah. And then you start seeing little bits more, and you think, I actually really like that person. And, we had kids together, and remember when we had the kids, and, and the synapse is going, oh yeah, this little thought in the brain is going, oh yeah, remember that. But it's trying to get back. Now, very quickly, I want you to remember what I did with you before. And I talked about your book, and I totally forgot what I was doing. Yeah, I lost the connection. So what happens is, oh, I was in here somewhere. So it tries to make a connection around the solid connection so that the connection becomes weaker. Yeah. So less of a grip. So
Yes.
then you start seeing a little bit more, you start trying a little bit more, you start, well, let me consciously think of the things I'm grateful for that person. Oh yeah, there we go again. What it's creating is a really loose synaptic connection, if you like, within the brain, or a thought within the brain. So it becomes looser and looser until what happens is, and what exactly happened with me, I haven't had a panic attack in, oh my God, I couldn't tell you how many years, because my brain forgot how to do it. And that's what happens. You forget how to dislike this person, and you
Yes.
begin to love them again. Now, this can work in friendships, it can work with relationships, it can work with family members, it can work with your job, your career. All you've got to do is break this off and start looking little things like I did. I had a mum who died at 47. I had a failed marriage. I had 2 kids. I was looking after my brothers, and I had to get out of the bed and think what I was grateful for. And that's what I'm saying to you. It's not easy, but you know what? Put your hands on your chest. And the first time I did it, I thought I've got nothing to be grateful for. And then I noticed my chest rise, and I went, I'm breathing. And that's where I started. I'm breathing.
Yes, I love that you said that. If I'm ever stuck, I do the same. I put my hand on my heart. I feel my heartbeat, and I'm like, my heart is beating.
Yeah.
Like that, that is a miracle. Like,
Exactly. And that's got to be your beginning point.
Yes, definitely.
That's
and
where you start,
I love that you said that, like, start small. I'm always like, start small. Don't go so big that your brain can't believe it. Like, go really small. I'm always grateful for the sun. I love the sun. The sun brings me so much joy. I'm always grateful for the sun. And I know every day I can be grateful for it, because even if it's behind the clouds, it's still there.
That's right. It's
Yeah. So choose things in nature. I love to say choose things in nature or within your body, your heart, your breath, that you can be certain of, to be grateful for. And it opens the door, doesn't it? It becomes easier. When you start to look for it and open the door, you will experience more of it. And I know, exactly what you touched on. I loved how you explained it, because I know when I first start working with couples, there is a lot of resentment in the beginning, and it's always this surface level stuff of he doesn't do this or she doesn't do this. And it's the surface that I could change all of that and you would still dislike them. It's nothing to do with the surface. But in the beginning, that's where their head's at, and that's all they can see. And I get it, because I've been there too. I nearly got divorced 3 years ago. So I get it. When you get into that mindset, that's all you see, and you see red. And you think that if that problem is solved, then I can be happy, then I can be grateful. It's not true. It will never happen. You get there. This is why celebrities who have everything are so unhappy, because it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your perception of it and what you're looking for. And it has everything to do with you and your inside. I know you said this earlier, that we create it. We're creating the problem. And I remember going, oh, I'm creating these challenges in my marriage. Oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable accepting that. But the sooner I swallowed that pill, the sooner I could actually turn it around. Exactly like you said, it was an empowering moment of like, okay, I don't like the way he does this, but I really love the way he does this. And I've seen exactly that. The more I focus on what I love about Adam, the more I see of it, the more I get. And I say this to women all the time. For some weird reason, we think criticism, controlling, and judgment is motivating. I have no idea where we got that useless information. There is absolutely no science to back that. And it doesn't work. I wasted years, like I'm talking years, of thinking that was the way to get what I want. And it was not serving me. I felt like a horrible person. I wasn't happy in my relationship. My husband just thought I was basically the devil. He would look at me like I was an enemy, and this is what couples do all the time. And you know, and it is so simple. Do the opposite, you know, see what you want to see, be grateful for what is there, and then you get more of it. And what I like to say is love them to want to change. You know, don't criticize them to want to change. You know, it doesn't work for you. If someone comes knocking at your door and says, you should do this, you should do that, you're not this, you don't go, oh, yay, I really want to be better. You go, see you later, like get out of my face.
Yeah.
And that's what we
You know,
do. And it's crazy.
one of the funny things you talk there about love them into change. I remember didn't you go to see Tony Robbins with Adam?
Yes.
Yes. The first time I went with a friend, and I come back, and one of the things, as you remember this, Tony Robbins talks about, don't go home and tell your family how fantastic this was. You've got to just live in you, and when they see the change in you, you'll rub off on them, really. So I remember this, and I remember coming home, and I wanted Mitch to do Tony Robbins so badly, yeah. But I thought, well, this guy's the big guru. He knows what he knows. I'm going to roll with it. I bought Mitch a ticket at Tony Robbins. I was that convinced that he would go. Excuse me. And what happened was I decided to step into this role, you know, just keep growing yourself. And it worked. I literally had Mitch the following year walking on hot coals.
Yes!
It was amazing.
I absolutely love that. And I 100% believe it, because I've seen the power of that in my relationship as well. Like exactly that, from going, pushing, forcing, controlling, trying to strangle the energy. Like we literally, I see it like a chessboard, like we're trying to manipulate everybody else, move 100 billion pieces when the only piece we need to move is us. And be the change. And the same thing happened to Adam. We did a lot of those events together, but then I wanted him to dive deeper into our relationship and more men's work. And I had all these desires, and I did the same thing as you. I had to go, Aston, stay in your lane, work on you, be the change, and inspire him to want to lean into this work. And I remember the day he was like, babe, what are you doing? Like, you just seem different. Like, I'm just loving your energy. And like, I want to know, like, what have you been doing? And I was like, yeah, I was so ready to share it with him in that moment. I feel like I'd been waiting a lifetime. And I hear this from women all the time. And my personal belief in relationships is you don't need two to tango. One of you can lead. And really, in my experience, me and Adam have been together 19 years. It's always been one of us that's ready before the other. And I think this pressure to be at the same point all of the time, it's unrealistic. We're on completely different journeys. Our souls are here for different reasons. We have different lessons. And you have to allow the timing. But I also don't believe in that you have to wait till they're ready. I'm like, no way. If you're ready, like you said, you went with a friend, you had an amazing experience, you got what you needed, and then you came back and you were the change. You were an example of the change. And then when he was ready, he stepped into it with you. And to me, that's natural progress. That's what brings us happiness, when it's in that natural rhythm and flow. And that's real life.
But if you're the catalyst for change, the beauty about this is it doesn't just stop with your husband. It goes on for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, my son is now going into his third year studying psychology. This is a kid who wouldn't do anything in school because he was so terrified of sitting exams, you know, and it worked on him. You know, I even he sat with me and done the whole virtual Tony Robbins. Excuse me, my throat. And it was amazing. It worked on him. It worked on my daughter. It worked on my other son. You know, it worked on my granddaughter. I had my eldest granddaughter doing Tony Robbins with me. You know, she's just shifted her mindset, knows how to deal with her stresses and things like that from school. You can be the catalyst. And the only person, and I speak about this in the book, the only person you have control over is you. Yes. So if you change you and you grow you and you become this amazing person that you so deserve to be, then you will see your petals will shine and your light will shine, and it will shine on the people around you. and they change for the better as well. They mightn't change in the same way you think is right, but they'll change in the way that they think is right. And isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it's so powerful and so beautiful, and just way more powerful than what we were talking about in that you trying to do it. I mean, and what a weight to carry, like I've held that weight before, taken way too much responsibility that was never my responsibility to hold. And we don't need to. We can put that down and feel that lightness of, I can take back control of my life by realizing that I have control over me. What decisions am I making? What am I choosing to think? What am I choosing to focus on? Oh, I love that. I'd love to finish on some like practical steps or the process that you go through of gratitude. I know you said that you start in the morning, and I love that. I do a similar thing when I get out of bed. I put my feet on the ground and I'm like grateful to feel the earth. It just makes me feel so grateful, or just grateful for my pillow. I've got a big king size bed. I love my bed. Yes. Although my kids have been invading it a bit lately. So, but then I'm grateful for the cuddles, they give the best cuddles. Right. So, so I'd just love to finish on that, the practical steps or the process, so that we can take that into our new year, because it's so powerful.
There's in the book that I wrote, there's, I think it's 14 chapters, and every single one of them has got a process, a simple process. And I say to people, like the people that have bought the book, a lot of them, no, I'm not giving it away because I write notes in it and I go back to chapter 1 or I go back to chapter 7, and, because there's lots of different stuff in there. But for your listeners, the one thing I would say is, if I was to tell you or ask you to do something that maybe even for 21 days, now remember the car, you didn't study wanting a new car for 21 days. It happened straight away. So I'm not even going to say 21 days. I'm going to say just start. Put your hand on your chest of a morning. And like Aston does, she has her feet on the ground. I don't even do that. I literally open my eyes, and one of them's usually still closed. Yeah. And I just give a big breath, and then I realize where I am, and I go, thank you. Thanks for me room. Thanks for me bed. I'm always giving thanks for me bed. And then if Mitch is there or he isn't in work, I'll turn around and I'll look at him and I'll say, thank you for him, because he's me best friend. Yeah. And that's a thing, isn't it? See the way I flip that script? He's my best friend. Thank you. Yeah. Does that mean he doesn't get on my nerves? Does that mean he doesn't sometimes drive me insane? No. But when you look at it and you put your hand on your heart and you look and you think, he's my best friend. We've been through so much together. And then you get up. Now, bear in mind, I couldn't even find one thing. I was looking for the breath. I get up and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm like, hey, I've got teeth on my own, thank you for my teeth. And then I think about the eyes that I can see in the mirror. Thank you for my eyes. It rolls on throughout your day. Yeah. And you start giving more to be thankful for. And then just one simple other thing you could do. So for morning, 3 things before you even, as soon as you open your eyes, and there's a reason behind that, because you're in that theta, you're still in the theta level. So your energy is more connected to the universe. So, you're putting it out there, what you're actually grateful for. And then of a night time, when we get in bed of a night and we look back at our day and we think, oh God, that was a heavy day. Gosh, I had so many clients, or I had so many patients that I had to see, and this went wrong and that went wrong. That was where our natural brain wants to go to. So you've got to stop that connection. And how you stop that connection is you get in bed, and I want you to scan your day. Scan your day, but what you're doing is you're looking for what was the one thing that made me smile today? Straight away, your conscious mind has gone, oh, we don't need to protect her. Let's go asleep. Where your subconscious mind's like, whoa, or the conscious mind's then thinking, okay, let's find something that was really good about today. And I even do this with the kids. When we get in the car and we pick the kids up from school and we go, how was your day? They'll automatically go to maybe the negative, or they might go to the positive. How about making it so it's the positive? How about instilling this? Me and Aston talk there, how your vibration can change your family. when your kids get in the car, whether it's from work or whether you see them from coming in from work, wherever, or from school, you turn around and you say, what was the best thing about your day? Ooh, they automatically straight away go and try and search. Okay, so there's just a couple of things. So gratitude first thing of a morning, and then of a nighttime, what was the best thing about my day? And you watch, your life will change.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And it is so simple, so powerful, and so profound. And you're exactly right. As soon as you start to do it, you see instant results. Like it's insane. It takes way less effort and energy than what everybody is currently doing, like, and then we're going to get closer to what we want. So it's just literally, you'd be insane not to give this a go. And I love that you talked about doing it with your kids, because we do the same with ours. We actually do it at the dinner table. We actually ask, we go one by one, what are you grateful for today? Or what did you love about today? And it's great. Like our kids are more open to talk about it, because it's not just like this big open-ended question of like, how was your day? It's so big. You think about yourself as an adult, so much happens in one day. So much happens. To ask someone, you can't even remember. You're like, and then you start to think, God, what am I even doing? I'm not even achieving anything. Am I even alive? And so gratitude always helps me be present. That's another powerful thing about gratitude, actually gets you in the moment, because you have to then look for what you're grateful for. And you will find it. If you look, you will find it. It's 100% there. And oh my God, I'd love this chat so much. I could honestly talk to you forever. You're incredible, Annmarie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Anne-Marie's links in the show notes, and I'm going to put a link to your book as well. Because
and the book's on Audibles as well, so you can actually pop it on Audible.
For all the busy mums, that's exactly what we need. Get it in our ears so we can do it around the kids and everything else. So I'll put the links below so you can get your copy and listen, because if there's one thing you want to start working on for 2023, and start now, don't wait, it's gratitude. Like, if you want to start moving the direction of your life, I 100% believe that gratitude is a huge part of that. So thank you so much, beautiful.
So welcome. And if any of your listeners want to get the book, as I say, it's on Audibles. You can get it on Amazon. You can even get a signed copy from my office.
Amazing.
And the other thing is I've got a 12-month program, because I can't see everybody. So I've put out for January a 12-month program where I jump in a room with you once a month. We set goals. You have a clarity call. So, we see where you're going, and then we take 12 months and we get you and we nail you where you're supposed to be. So so that's another thing new for 2023.
Amazing.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I've loved chatting with you. You are so welcome. My absolute pleasure. I love these chats. I always end up coming out full of oxytocin and feeling so like positive and in my feminine bubble. Whenever I come out, Adam's always like, oh my God, you look amazing. You've done another podcast, haven't you? I'm like, yes. I love these chats so much. So thank you so much for bringing your energy and your love. You're incredible. And thank you so much. Enjoy this episode. Share with us your biggest takeaways. Tag me and Annmarie in your stories so we know what your biggest takeaways are. And let's really just expand this bubble of gratitude for ourselves and for each other for 2023. We've loved being here with you. Thanks so much.